You figuring out what rejuvenation as a form of self-care that works for you, which is very different than works for me, very different than anyone else. That is like staying in the power stance. It's an action. It's something that you're doing so that you can show up as your whole self and give the world the version of you that will make an impact.
Yeah.
That cannot be bad.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the rejuvenating convo I had with Rachel Varga in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that episode, you need to do it, because she's amazing and we've been using her tips, and some of them are extremely effective. And other ones I just haven't tried yet. I'm really impressed. But today, before we get into Rachel's amazing tips for your rejuvenating, means like skin, all that kind of stuff. Today is November 13th and it is World Kindness Day.
Yes, it is.
Damn it. That's what my Papa Jake would say. Celebrating, meaning like we're going to do it. Like that kind of damn it. Okay, celebrating internationally, this holiday was formed in 1998 to promote kindness throughout the world, and it's observed annually on November 13th as part of World Kindness Movement. It's observed in many countries, including the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, and the UAE. World Kindness Day presents us with the opportunity to reflect upon one of the most important and unifying human principles. Oh, just period.
Period.
On a day devoted to the positive potential of both large and small acts of kindness, try to promote and diffuse this crucial quality that brings people of every kind together.
Yeah, so the World Kindness Movement.
Tell us more, Brad.
The World Kindness Movement is an organization, and theworldkindnessmovement.org. If you're interested in reading more, I found it really intriguing that this is even a day, but I like the idea. I just think it's important that we are being conscious of this, sharing kindness generally, because I think that in our extreme split political environment and belief in science and reality versus non-science and non-reality, it actually creates a lot of frustration. It really creates a lot of frustration for me. And this is a good reminder that we still have to treat people who, we definitely disagree with. We still have to treat them as humans, as people, even if we don't think that what they're doing or thinking or saying makes sense. They're still humans, and we still have to treat them with kindness regardless.
I think, what's interesting about this is like when we lived in LA, many of our neighbors were homeless, right? Like where we lived. And it's so easy. I watch people like they turn their head away from homeless people. Like they just don't even look at them. But then they wonder why they're not treating the area like with respect. It's like, well, you don't treat them like a human. You're looking them in the eye. There are simple acts of kindness you can do every day. In fact, Kim Scott wrote a book, 100 Acts of Love, which you can put kindness in there. There are things you can do for people. Obviously, that book was written for people going through a loss, but there are things you can do. And it's really funny. My dad is he acts like he hates talking to people. But then we go to the gym, which is through a casino, and he talks to everybody. He knows the name of every security guard. He knows the name of every parking attendant, right? We now know the names of several dealers at the casino.
Yep.
And you know what I think makes them their day is that we just say hi. They're staying there waiting for someone to come to their booth or whatever. And we're like, morning, good morning. It just makes people feel seen. Like even just acknowledging people with an eye contact and a wave makes people feel seen. And I think that if we did more of that, the world would be a better place. So I think Maslow's hierarchy of needs is really real. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a hard word for me tonight. And we judge people based on oh my God, I can't believe they did that. But if they don't know where their food or meal or healthcare is coming from, of course they did that. you are in the enlightened level because you have some privileges to your life. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad about yourself, but we have to stop judging people who have less than us. We have to have more kindness. I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay. You take us through the first half of this list. It's long.
All right, we're going to move real quick through our upcoming events and travel, y'all. So come join us if we're going to be near you. Okay, in November, this month, we are going to do
Right now, the month we're in.
Thanks. This month, we're going to have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale for OPC only. Okay, for OPC only, it's going to be the 26th through December 1st. So check your email for more information. We're going to send you an email on the 19th.
We're not going to tell you what it is. You
that's
just have
6
to find
days
out.
from now. Then next is Winter Tour. We are actually going to be on the road in December, and we've already made the announcements. Go to opc.me/tour for tickets, all the things.
Days are already sold out, so you got to get in there quick.
Yep. Okay, so next is, while we're not doing a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale for Profitable Pilates, at the end of December, we are going to have a sneak peek offer for you to join agency. We haven't really made this announcement anywhere except for the pod, so you are the enlightened ones, as we were talking about. We're giving you the heads up. If you've ever considered joining agency, but you weren't quite sure if it was for you, we're going to do just a short month where you can figure it out, see if it's your jam, and join us.
Well, it's a full month, but it's a short commitment.
Short commitment. I mean, it'll be a month. So anyway, it'll be the end of December 26th through the 31st. And then in January, Les,
I'll be at the Pilates Journal Expo in Huntington Beach. It's the first one that they're doing in the US. And I've got a world premiere of a workshop that they were like, we love that people really want to just ask you questions. And don't worry, there's an actual workshop to it, but it's a space where you can ask me questions. And so you want to go to xxll.co/Pilates Journal to get your tickets to that. Then also in January, we're going to open up the early bird discount for our retreat for 2026. And many of you ask about it.
yes.
You need to be on the wait list if you want the discount. If you want to pay full price, don't get on the wait list. It's fine. Go to crowsnestretreats.com. In February, Agency Mini is happening. You want to get on the wait list for that as well. Different wait list link. It's prfit.biz/mini. What is Agency Mini? It's 3 days of us digging into your business and on a problem, so you can see what it's like to coach with us. That's for Pilates instructors and studio owners and anyone who's in that service-based industry. And then in March, we are going to Poland and we're going to Brussels with Karen Frischman. There are different workshops at each. They are on different days because we cannot be in two places at once. So if you are interested in Poland, it's going to be the one that happens before Brussels. And I can't remember the dates of it, but it's xxll.co/Poland. It's the third weekend in March. And then the last weekend of March is Brussels. Not only are we there with Karen Frischman, we're going to be there with Ignacio, whose last name I can't remember at this moment, but he's amazing and the most beautiful eyes and the most incredible, kind instructor. xxll.co/Brussels. And then in April, POT London. We'll be there with Claire Sparrow and some amazing other people. You're not going to want to miss it. So there's your links. They're in the show notes.
Ignacio Rodriguez.
Oh, Ignacio Rodriguez.
Yes.
Well, anyways, he is a special soul. I mean, he's
from Spain. Yeah.
I know. He's like a Pilates Buddha.
Yes. He's awesome.
That's what I like. Whenever I was around him, I just was like, oh my God, he's the calmest person. His energy is so calm. You cannot be anything but that around him. He doesn't listen to this podcast, so he won't even get that compliment. Okay, before we get into Rachel's episode, what is our question this week?
Okay, this week we had a question on YouTube from @BodyFlexZone, all about the OPC flashcard deck series. They asked, hey, could you possibly include the exo chair and the springboard in your flashcards?
So, Body Flex Zone, I'm sorry to tell you the news, but this is exciting too, so don't turn it off. We're not going to do that.
No. Here's why.
Here's why. They're included already. How do I explain this? I write the cards as a classically trained instructor with classical equipment. They're edited by a contemporary trained instructor who has contemporary equipment, including she has an exo chair and was trained on a springboard.
Yeah.
And the measurements for how to use the hooks on your springboard exist in the Cadillac deck. Now,
So while we are not creating a special deck for the exo chair or a special deck for the springboard, if you get the chairs deck, the exo chair information would be applicable.
Yes,
It's applicable. The information of the chairs deck is applicable to the exo chair. And in the same vein, the Cadillac Tower deck is applicable. It includes information about springboard information.
Because some springboards have pusher bars, some springboards don't. There are cards that will say it's they're marked that they might not be available on a tower, which means they're definitely not available on a springboard. And so, but also there's a card in each deck on how to use the deck. And it explains if you have an exo chair, like it doesn't say exo chair specifically. It's like if your chair has 4 hooks, here's how to think about it. So both decks are very useful. And if you get those decks, if you ever have access to a full Cadillac or tower, you have a bunch of cards you get to use. You don't have to take a special training for it because you've already been trained. So you can get our flashcards at opc.me/flashcards. All 6 decks are out.
Yeah.
Oh, you might want to go to the website during the Black Friday sale.
For those of you who were unable to hear what she said, you might want to go to the website during the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. Just a heads up.
Don't miss it, because if you ask us later, no, we're only do it for 5 days.
Hey, send in your questions to the pod. Go to beitpod.com/questions, where you can leave a win or a question, or you can also text us at 310-905-5534. Stick around. We'll be right back. We're going to dig into this really interesting conversation we had with Rachel Varga, all about rejuvenation. Welcome back. Let's talk about Rachel Varga. Okay, Rachel is a registered nurse and an aesthetic specialist who's been in the field of non-surgical rejuvenation since 2011. She's published research on eye and jawline rejuvenation, teaches doctors and nurses internationally, and now blends her expertise with biohacking to help people age well. Rachel is the founder of the School of Radiance and also hosts the School of Radiance podcast, where she shares how skincare, lifestyle, and self-care can create lasting beauty from the inside out.
Yeah, I've been on her pod. You should go listen to our episodes together there. And if you like it, then you have another podcast to listen to. I really enjoy this because, okay, I have been wanting to have an expert like this on for a while, but I didn't want it to be a vanity. Like, I didn't want people to be like, oh, it's so vain. Like so many people are like, I don't know, raw milking it. So they're not going to want to talk about Botox or things like that. And some people get granola and they're like, I got to not do anything to my body. But also, if something's really, like she said, if something is really bothering you, like specific lines or scars or jowls, addressing it is beneficial, because oftentimes, if you feel you look better, you feel better. And if you feel better, you actually just look better. Like, if you actually feel good about yourself, you walk around taller, you engage with people in a different way. And so it's kind of like a chicken or the egg thing. And I appreciate her approach. If you listen to the episode, it's not like everyone needs Botox. There's always something wrong with you. No, it's like, okay, what are some of the things you can do that are non-surgical that actually do work? I will say you're going to want to listen to her second episode, which we're not going to talk about today, but we talk about a lot of things that are like a waste of your money and waste of your time. She's very, very intelligent and doesn't waste her time. But I do think that what she talked about is people are not viewing rejuvenation as being vain anymore. They're actually seen as a form of self-care. And I do think there's a balance of what can we do as part of our self-care routine that makes us feel better about how we look, so we feel better about how we look.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's what I was going to say. Hardcore.
Well, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I really appreciate, I forget which actress it was. What's that beautiful woman? Diane Lane is beautiful, but she also did one of the Fast and the Furious. She's like a dame, gray hair actress.
There were 10 or 11 Fast and the Furious movies. So
I know,
honestly,
more of the recent of them. And she is like, she also was in like a beautiful bathing suit in the tabloids. And I was like, I want to look like her when I'm 80. I can't think of it. Everyone's yelling at in their car right now, but you know who I'm talking about. She talked about how, like, she said, she's letting wrinkles happen. And I also would like to let those things happen. And there are some things that just bother me and I don't want them to, and they become a distraction for me being it till I see it. So I do think that if like how you look is affecting how you're operating your day, there is a point where you do need to actually address like what is going on here, because it's becoming an obstacle. I'll look it up while you say what you loved.
Yeah. So one thing I thought was important was this conversation of,
Helen Mirren.
that was really fast and I'm very impressed.
You know what I looked up? I said, older actress, stunning, Fast and the Furious. She's the top
That's
of the
hilarious.
searches.
I went to IMDb
Helen Mirren.
and I started with Fast and Furious and I was like, there's so many actors.
You gotta go with my way.
Yeah, I just thought I wanted to comment about what you had said about what your topic was, that we beat ourselves up over this idea that we're gonna like focusing on how we look is somehow wrong.
Right.
And I think that
But then also everything, your entire life is based on how you look. You know, like we're told not to focus on how we look. However, especially if you were raised as a woman in the church, how you look could make your brother stumble. So you better figure that out. But then also you better be sexy for your husband or he's going to wander. And then, oh, if you look too old, you're not going to get the job because they don't want an older woman. So there's all this stuff about how we're not supposed to care how we look, but actually everything is about how we look. And if you're a dude, you just get fucking hotter as you get older, and it's really annoying.
well, I love that you took all the words right out of my mouth. So here's what I was going to say is that I think it's important to that it when we are holding ourselves to this idea that feeling like we want to care about how we look is wrong somehow. What she mentioned was confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that because I thought, hey, why do we buy a nice shirt or buy some, dress shoes, for the office? Because we like the way that we look in those. And it gives us this idea that we got it together. And I don't know why we would think that it's okay to buy a nice blouse or blazer or shoes, but not do the same thing for our face or our skincare or our weight or our working out or our whatever.
Or the food we eat or the things that we do to make ourselves feel good. I agree. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, anyway, my point is that I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
Here's the thing. I really have come to a place where it's like, if the thing that you do for yourself doesn't affect anyone else negatively, it's none of my fucking business.
Okay, let's actually start with, because I'm logical, let's actually start with the definition of vanity.
Okay, let's do that.
Excessive pride.
Well,
Excessive pride in or admiration of one's own appearance or achievements. Excessive pride, right?
So walking around telling everyone, I'm so fucking stunning.
I'm so amazing. Look how awesome I am. Look how beautiful I am, right? That is vanity. But giving a shit about how you look is not vanity. And I think that we've conflated this idea and we beat ourselves up.
Brad, you're fucking brilliant. It's like the word selfish, like how self-care has become selfish care. Like the fact that you'd spend any extra amount of time thinking about yourself instead of your children, the people you work for, the people you do things for, the people you love, like that's selfish. This is amazing. And I do love this because, okay, Amy Cuddy, whose TED Talk is where the title of this podcast came from. And if anyone knows her, I would love that interview. But she talked about how she does a study about the power stance, the Wonder Woman stance. When you do it for 5 minutes, you actually appear and feel more confident in an interview. They did a literal scientific study, and they had people not stand in a power stance and sit slumped for 5 minutes, bad posture, and then go in. And then they asked them, how confident did you feel? They asked the interviewers, how confident did they seem? Did they appear? You figuring out what rejuvenation and as a form of self-care that works for you, which is very different than works for me, very different than anyone else. That is like staying in the power stance. It's an action. It's something that you're doing so that you can show up as your whole self and give the world like the version of you that will make an impact.
Yeah.
That cannot be bad. I'm in.
Yeah. And I think that, when we have confidence, obviously it allows us to deliver our, purpose in life better. It makes us enjoy what we're doing more. It definitely just changes the way we show up in our community and the way that we see ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
So and the world sees that too. When we put effort into ourselves, we show the world that we are valuable because we value ourselves.
Mhm.
And I think that is also important, is that that belief in yourself, right? The knowledge that you are worthy, even though it seems internal, it is very visible to other people. When you know that you belong there to do the thing, or you believe you belong there to do the thing, other people perceive that. They pick up on that.
Well, yeah. And also I'm going to take one of your points. We're talking about this. We are talking about rejuvenation in a way that looks natural and feels good, that builds confidence. We're not talking about go overdo it. We know the people who look like they were overdone, we're not talking about getting a new face like the Kardashian mom. We're talking about we're not even talking about doing Botox or surgery. It can be as simple as massaging your face, or the money you spend on the moisturizer that makes you feel good. We're talking non-surgical approaches.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think when you are because we think that self-care equals vanity, that's where we're going wrong. But when we can separate the two and understand that vanity is excessive, celebration of your beauty or your achievements,
Mm-hmm.
that is obtuse. That is
Yeah.
annoying. That is you don't want to listen. You don't want to be around somebody like that. We all know people like that.
There's
We're
the
just
song. You're so vain. You probably think the song is about you. That is a definition.
But when you care about yourself, it's okay to put yourself first and make that part of your self-care routine. And
well, I also think not to cut you off. I'm so sorry. This is our ADHD problem. I think if something is keeping you from showing up and making the impact in your world, and it has to do with your looks, it is not vain or selfish to do something about it. If that thing is keeping you from actually showing up as your whole self to make the impact you so desire to make,
yeah,
the world is missing out.
A great example would be braces.
Oh yeah,
or Invisalign, or even surgery on your teeth. It comes across as a crazy expense sometimes,
mm-hmm.
but night and day difference. I've had a really close friend of mine growing up who had surgery in his 20s, and he smiles now.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the difference in him because he was no longer judging himself.
Yeah.
Over something.
I watched something where this girl, every time she would smile, or laugh out loud, she put her hand in front of her mouth.
Yeah.
Because she wanted people to see her teeth.
Yep.
And then through this one organization, they fix them, and no one would say that she's being fucking vain. No one would. And because
that was surgery. That was surgery. And this episode, we're not necessarily talking about that, but Invisalign, or braces, or
right.
Any of those things.
If it's going to make you smile a little brighter, going back to World Kindness Day and making people feel seen, I would hate for someone to not get the joy from your smile. When people smile at me, I'm like, oh, hi. It just brightens your day. It snaps you out of the whirlwind that's in your mind. And I was really excited to have her on because I thought it was a really honest conversation about inner beauty and what would make us feel good. And I just don't think there's anything wrong. And I think it's really important you hear this. There is nothing wrong with doing things for yourself that make you feel beautiful. And if you were ever told that focusing on what makes you feel beautiful is wrong, there's some deconstruction and when we took my fake eyelashes off, it was really hard for me. It was extremely hard. I didn't look the same anymore. I had to do a lot of self-talk, but I went to Sephora literally the next day, and I was like, you have to help me. I look like a mole rat. And that is an actual thing that exists. And yes, I did look like a mole rat if you look it up. But she taught me, she said, okay, the best makeup starts with the best skincare for you. She said to me. And that's what Rachel's also talking about, the non-surgical approaches. And then the second thing is, by that girl teaching me a couple tricks with makeup, I could show up and do my tour as my whole self in a non-distracted way.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh my God, people are going to be staring at me talk about the braces and the weird things.
Sure.
I have no eyelashes. That is not what people are used to seeing. Okay. So I just think that like, if it's okay, I believe it because I felt it. I've been there. I've been there when you're like, oh my God, my face is numb from the dentist. Like, I don't want anyone to see me. If things like that are keeping you from showing up on a daily basis, you owe it to yourself and the people that you can impact on this world to find some way to feel that natural confidence by taking care of yourself. So that's what I think.
All right. Awesome. Well, I think we've talked through that pretty exhaustively.
I feel good about it.
Yeah. Stick around. We'll be right back. We have some more tips from Rachel in the Be It action items. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Finally, let's talk about those Be It action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Rachel Varga? She said, hey, high protein and creatine, right? High protein intake, 1 gram to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Now, you probably heard Lesley mention this a lot. She definitely is on board with this. She said,
it's so hard. Just be kind to yourself.
It's hard, but you know, there are ways, and actually a lot of it had to do with changing the food that we're eating. For example, I had a high protein bagel today, you know, and you know, it was, I don't even know what it was, a lot of protein for a bagel. And so there, you know, eggs and all these extra
we're
things.
not sponsored by them, but hi, Owen, they have a 32-gram protein shake and it's only what you need. There's nothing weird about it. I'm sure like, look, the biohackers would not like that we're talking about processed food, but it takes time to switch your diet around. And if you're trying to do this, it does take time. So pick a meal a day and kind of work your way towards her. But I wanted to say, I fucking love that her Be It actions have nothing to do with like going to a med spa.
Right. To doing beauty stuff or whatever. Yeah. I mean, because it's just like your Sephora experience. She said the best way to fix your eyelashes is your skincare routine.
I know.
Right. So in this case, Rachel's talking about high protein and creatine because when she started lifting heavy and focusing on high protein, it gave her more inner power activation. And that was great for her skin.
Yes.
Right. So that's
and there's ladies who are listening. We have a lot of perimenopausal women. There's a ton of research on doubling up on that creatine.
Yeah. And she also talked about collagen because collagen will also help your skin.
I just patted my face.
If you're watching YouTube, you can laugh along with me.
I've been doing collagen since like religiously since 2016. Because in 2015, I did a test and the guy's like, you have no collagen. And then a year later, I did the test. He's like, okay, so you're off the charts in collagen. And I was like, is that a bad thing? Should I like slow it down? And he's like, I think you could be okay. And I have not slowed it down.
So we've got a call to action for you here. If you want to go to theschoolofradiance.com, theschoolofradiance.com, you can use a promo code Lesley Logan 15, Lesley Logan 15 for 15% off one of her membership. But she said there's also a free 30-minute biohacking lesson you can get on there that has a checklist, her skincare checklist, and it's available on her site.
And also, like, depending where you live, as seasons change, your skincare routine has to as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Okay. Another interesting non-meds related Be It action item, which is just why I love her, right? Like you don't like, it doesn't have to always be like, get this moisturizer. She recommended breathwork specifically during exercise to keep cortisol down and remain in a parasympathetic rest and digest state, which helps slow aging and collagen loss. So this is what I love because people are going to try to sell you stuff all the time, and this is fucking free. So breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. And do that 4 to 5 times. By the way, it's called box breathing as well. And she explains that elevated cortisol results in a drop in estrogen. When estrogen falls, collagen and elastin fall too. So you want to breathe because it's going to help slow your aging down. And that costs $0.
Yeah, she said that you two were specifically talking about lifting in the gym. And she said the guys will try to spike their cortisol. And she said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Also, and I know being a woman today, it's like, what are we listening to? Look, keeping your cortisol down is always going to be a good thing, especially if you're in perimenopause or post. It'll help your sleep, which is going to help you age better. But also, when you're doing Pilates, this is something that people struggle with. You got to breathe in and out through your nose because that keeps you cool. It keeps you calm. It keeps you grounded, keeps that cortisol down, which helps you age slower. I love this. She's coming back because I was like, oh my God, I didn't even get to all the tools. Like, do I need to buy this? Do I need to buy this? Do I need to buy this? And she is going to change your life with that. I'll let you know when the episode's coming out, of course. But until next time, I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Show this a friend who needs to hear it. Leave us a review. Tell Rachel Varga how these tips and tools helped you. And until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the Epic team at Diseño.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.